Man
What
says debate.
which saga in Naruto does JJK top tiers land at? Like, how powerful would they
Gotcha.
be? Yeah. Let's see
Okay.
what Sir Goat says. Debated. Oh shit. Okay. What would be a good place for JJK? Two different ones. So tuning exam is definitely one. So we'll put that in there.
Yeah.
Tuning exam level.
Okay.
All right. Level.
Yeah, eyeball scaling.
How high would I go with that?
But Sasuke was able to be like top, bro.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
If I really wanted to rat, if I do get this take, if I like wank the shit out of Gojo in a hypothetical Sukuna, maybe early Shippuden. Fuck it, I'll go as high as early Shippuden if I get that side. All right, I'll go first. Fuck it. I guess until someone concedes. If I get the rat side, I'll try to keep it going. But yeah. Oh shit, I did get
There's
the rat
only so
side.
much you can eventually do.
I got the rat side.
Yeah,
All right.
literally.
All
Especially
right.
cross verses like this. Yeah.
Let's see. I'll try for Sir Ghost. I'll try to keep it up a rat as much as I can. And see how far I can get with my arguments. And then I'll at least try 2 or 3 times. If I see I can still keep ratting, I'll do that, Sir Ghost. I got you. All right, it's 5 minutes apiece. Actually, no, it's just this full debate. Actually, all right. So we can go as long as we want. I'm gonna cash up you for Kiba versus Sheikah. I appreciate that, brother. Feel free. We got you right after this. All right, so I'll go first. No timer. We got your Sir Goats. Obviously, I won't talk for hours, but I'll give a good argument. Okay. All right, so to start up with my argument would be that the reason that Gojo can scale all the way up to early Shippuden, is because Gojo is beyond a special grade ability sorcerer. Special grade ability sorcerers and or curses are stated to be multi-cluster level, which implies possibly atomic bomb level, such as maybe Nagasaki or I forgot the other city, Nagasaki level, which is around city level. But he is surely beyond that, which is proven empirically by his utter dominance over the most special grade of curses in the verse as of now, including the volcano head guy. I think his name is Tojo or Toto, something like that. He was able to solo him very casually, and to the point where the guy's ego was hurt. He overwhelmed his domain expansion. He is stated to have preposterous amounts of curse energy to the point where it's comical to compare him to anyone in the verse who already are around town level at the highest of peaks, if you take into consideration the strongest sorcerers and or curses, who again are around city level. So when comparing it to early Shippuden, we see individuals like Kakashi. We see individuals like Deidara. These individuals, at their best, are able to possibly destroy a town. I'll give him that, especially Deidara with his C4, I believe C0. Going against a Kage level threat, battling in the village, causing danger to the entire village. Beyond that, early Shippuden, you don't really see individuals surpass city level. Pain himself, with their chaotic Shinder transfer, destroyed the city, and he's certainly more powerful than individuals in the early Shippuden arc. So I would deduce that Gojo, because he is so far beyond special grade, which is around city level, he'd be significantly beyond that, implying that individuals within the early Shippuden arc, beyond the obvious ones, which are not included in this argument, I would state that he would triumph over these individuals, especially if he's going all out. And on top of that, again, his infinity ability allows attacks to have to go through infinite convergence, which in calculus and applied mathematics means that it never truly reaches you. It is a limitless, endless progression through time, because you're at a infinitely far away distance, which is essentially what Gojo is when his infinity ability is on. And again, it's always on for the most part. I believe currently it's always on. It's not even subconscious anymore, if I'm not mistaken. But even if you don't take and presuppose that claim, it is always on whenever he's not in school or within the domain where he trusts these other sorcerers with his life. So simply put, Gojo empirically and rationally is stated to be so far beyond town level that I couldn't rationally deduce the very remote chance that individuals in early Shippuden would stand a chance against him, nor even touch him on top of that. So that's my first argument, and why Gojo and JJK could scale even up to early Shippuden. So that's my first argument.
All right.
All right. No time limit, so you can take your time too if you want.
Oh, good, man. So I'm advocating for higher, low.
Yeah, you're advocating for chewing exam. Yeah. That they don't reach.
Oh, tuning exam.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Whenever you can take your time or whenever you're ready. It's all good.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah. Did you want timer? I can give you a timer if you want. I didn't use a timer, so it's up to you though.
I'll just go for a little
Yeah.
bit.
All right. Go ahead. Yeah. Whenever you're
All
ready.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, JJ characters like higher echelon characters like Gojo or Sukuna are stated to be somewhere in the ballpark of massively hypersonic to relativistic. So that includes like the abilities that they can utilize, and in this case, it would be Gojo's infinite void or expansion. So there is an area of time that has to elapse before he can utilize his abilities, and because of his subpar speeds, people like in the tuning exam were already reacting to sound-based attacks with Zaku or the other sound ninja at the time as well. So when we see someone like Rock Lee using the fifth gate, uh, breaking the sound barrier and seemingly teleporting in front of everyone, so even at that point of Naruto in the series, uh, characters like JJK wouldn't be able to emit any abilities or hit them tangibly with their subpar speeds. Now, the real contention here is if these characters were to be caught in this ability, then it would be a problem because speed would essentially be nullified because he has all controls of that in his infinite in his void. But the thing is, with the amount of speed that these characters have, like Rock Lee or even KCM Naruto, for instance, well, KCM Zero, if you will. But despite this, yeah, they just have too much of a chakra advantage, and you could theoretically say that even characters in that point of the series would have enough chakra to nullify the ability to begin with. Let's say they do work in comparison or conjunctively with one another. So someone like Naruto or even Gaara with Shikaku inside of him could arguably nullify the ability. They have the tangible stats to outspeed them. And unfortunately, there's not much that JJK characters can do at this certain time of the empirical evidence that's been presented so far. So that's just what I'll say for my first argument.
Do we lose Jay?
I think so. I was waiting for a reply or something. Yeah.
Don't die, Jay. Where you at?
¿Dónde estás, primo? Yeah, it's a hard one though. It's for goat. It's a very interesting question indeed, my friend.
Oh, sorry, I forgot I muted myself. My bad.
No, no, you're good, man.
Hey,
All right. Sir Gojo said the volcano head guy is Jogo. Oh yeah, that's his name. You're right. You're right. All right.
Jogo.
So to give my take to respond. All right. Let's see here. All right. So to respond to my opponent's claim here, the claim is that speed would be the deferring factor and the winning factor for individuals in the Naruto verse. And here's why that would be irrelevant and insignificant. Infinity is essentially what I've previously reiterated: infinite distance and endless, limitless distance, implying no matter the speed, it would be negated by the very fact that you're traveling an infinite distance. And in some theoretical way, it's almost as if you have no speed because there is an endless destination you're trying to reach, implying that, again, with Gojo using his infinity ability, which is always on subconsciously, it takes very minimal resources in comparison to a Shinra Tensei, which made Nagato get very, very fatigued. It would give him a defense that would last a very preposterous long amount of time. So even if we do conclude and induce that his speed is inferior to individuals of the Naruto verse, that would be negated by the very fact that they can't touch him anyway. So despite him being slower, he could just stand in place and watch these attacks infinitely converge to his location, which is why Gojo would defeat individuals even up until early Shippuden. They just don't have the stamina, I would say, to deal with someone that, again, only uses minimal resources and has his ability on every day, besides when he's in class and around sorcerers he trusts with his life. Right? We can't even fathom the idea of someone like Pain keeping on, using Shinra Tenseis for weeks on end. He would be probably fatigued by one day of utilizing Shinra Tenseis, let alone weeks to possibly years with this ability being turned on. He's essentially always having the perfect defense. On top of that, he has an infinite domain expansion. Again, the key word is infinite. That semantic the semantic representation of this word brings dire consequences to individuals that have to impose their will on someone that has the ability to even remotely manipulate infinity. So any individual that gets caught in this ability would be overwhelmed, similar to Jogo in the JJK verse, and Gojo would be the superior. These individuals would be at his mercy. So theoretically, what he could do is keep infinity on, and then use infinite domain expansion when they least expect it, and that would be GG. Once you're in the domain expansion, your strike is guaranteed, implying that speed is negated within the infinite domain expansion, because the domain expansion is your own domain, implying what you say goes. So essentially, he would use infinity when he's outside the borders of his domain expansion, but once the domain expansion is executed, and he begins to impose and embed infinite information into your senses, that will disable you. And on top of that, physical attacks, like I said, as stated by the JJK canonical literature, are guaranteed no matter the difference in caliber. So even despite the differences in speed, the differences in AP, the differences in other tangible traits, him striking you is guaranteed. So even if someone like Kakashi with Kamui gets stuck in this dimension, despite being possibly faster in the outside world, he'd be at Gojo's mercy, and Gojo could just pick his poison. Essentially, you could overwhelm him with mental stimuli, physical stimuli, or you could just punch him until he no longer can take it. He could just beat him into submission. So in short, the infinite ability of Gojo is what makes him stand out from the rest of these fodder individuals when comparing them to Naruto, of course. Infinity allows him to close the gap in caliber. The hacks that he can impose and execute allow him to close the gap in power, which is further reinforced rationally by the very fact that Gojo is compared to individuals beyond early Shippuden, such as Goku himself. There's actually an argument for Gojo defeating multiversal beings such as Goku, if you want to highball him to that extent. He's certainly universal plus. I don't think that's remotely contentious. So, in short, the infinity ability cannot be looked past. And as far as cursed energy and chakra interacting, and if it's a battle of attrition and a battle of duration, again, him using these abilities, despite their gargantuan significant benefit, only take up what he states as minimal resources, despite him having gargantuan amounts of cursed energy. While conversely, Pain after a Shinder Tensei in a few battles in Konoha was fatigued, which implies the difference in utilization of these respective entities of power, right? Gojo barely uses anything at all times and has a perfect defense, while conversely, Pain utilizing these abilities can significantly impact his stamina and overall ability to execute offensively and defensively. So that would be my counter to my opponent.
All right.
If you want to counter that, yeah. Did you need a second, or did you just want to start? I'm not putting the timer on, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just go. Okay. So, yeah, I agree with mostly what Jay said, but as I did iterate in the past, there are levels to the amount of chakra that characters in Naruto have as opposed to characters in JJK. Now, if they were to interact or work in conjunction, you could theoretically say that someone with like a larger portion of chakra would override the hack's ability that is emitted from Gojo in the first place. Someone like Shikaku or Kurama, for that matter, which exists in Naruto and could come out if need be. So that being said, it almost seems to be like a genjutsu with the infinite amount of information one is emitted or inputted with. So there are ways in Naruto to make exploits of those set abilities that I've said. That is certainly questionable as how they interact, of course, but it seems that if the ability in question was nullified, it comes down to a battle of other abilities, and Gojo is unfortunately limited in his arsenal as opposed to other characters in Naruto could do at certain thresholds. So it may be a battle of just chakra negating the questionable ability that Gojo has. There has to be some exploits or some shinobi in that universe that would have not only the abilities to counteract it, but utilize other things to attack him from distance or something else and actually revere him as a threat. Now, the reason why Gojo can't beat characters like Goku is because he's not even the top guy in his own verse with like Sukuna. being a prominent threat as well. So there has to be some exploits to his ability that even people in his universe can't really that can actually beat him, like Sukuna, like I said. So unfortunately, town levels where we get him, uh, hypersonic speeds is where we can get him, and like with Sukuna, like he probably just has more curse energy and can negate Gojo's ability, and someone in Naruto could easily do that, especially with like someone like Kurama. So it's not necessarily just speed; it's the amount of abilities one could exhibit, chakra supply, and also intellect, if it really comes down to it. So yeah.
All right. Did you want to do mutual contention? We just go to conclusions, or did you want to keep going after these last arguments we give?
I think we gave it a fair shake.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you want to just go? We each just give a conclusion now, or do you want to?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'll give my conclusion, and then Shinobi will give his. All right. Again, thanks, Sir Ghost. It's actually very interesting. So we appreciate the topic.
Always, man.
All right. By the way, sorry for debate earlier. I meant like having a discussion debate, but nonetheless, oh yeah, we'll keep discussing it after. We gotcha. You did pay 100. We'll discuss it with Batman as well. We'll just give our conclusions here. All right. So let me go ahead and do my conclusion. All right. So to conclude this debate, I would start out by contending with the premise that the ability of Gojo would be negated. My counter to that claim would simply be you cannot negate an ability you can never reach. So again, infinity has a semantical representation of being in a word that represents endless and limitless, unreachable, unattainable, etc. There are many other adjectives that I could use to describe the very power. So what would happen is, theoretically, with it being the most rational deduction, when you again consider the semantical representation of the word infinity, is that despite individuals in the Narutoverse possibly having flat out more power, such as more chakra than curse energy, i.e., I would say that despite that, it would never negate the ability because it would never reach it in the first place. There would be an infinite standstill with any ability that tries to direct itself towards Gojo because of the infinite convergence. So to reiterate, you cannot negate an ability if you can never reach an ability. It would simply be, an analogy would simply be running in place but never reaching your destination. So there would never be a negation, with no conclusion being the very result that would come to play with that. So simply put, I'll reiterate what I said to conclude. Gojo, despite possibly having less curse energy, uses very minimal amounts of it to use his infinite ability, which allows him to never be hit or even remotely hit because there's an infinite distance between him and his opponent. So even individuals more powerful than himself, i.e., possibly individuals in the early Shippuden arc, would never reach him, and there would simply never be negation, with their abilities never reaching the destination. Now, his abilities, on top of that, offensively, give him a very good shot of winning, such as, again, I'll reiterate, the infinite domain expansion, which, within the name, most likely means that the domain expansion is, in fact, infinite. And on top of that, there's an infinite stimuli of information going into your senses, which will cause anyone, despite how high they scale, to become overwhelmed if, again, you're dealing with infinite datums entering your stimuli from many angles. So, simply put, Gojo's infinity abilities is what makes him stand out from the fodder in JJK. Of course, when I'm comparing him to the Narutoverse, right? I will give people this: the vast majority of individuals in JJK would not stand a chance against individuals Shippuden and on in Naruto. But Gojo stands out because his abilities consist of endless and infinite types of attacks and defenses, such as the infinity that he uses at all times when he's trying to defend himself from possible threats. It's subconscious. He doesn't even need to voluntarily turn it on. He uses very minimal resources. It's subconscious. And individuals that, again, could possibly be more powerful would simply never hit him. And they themselves would be depleted of resources after a while, especially someone like Kakashi. If he can never hit the guy, he would be out of chakra very quickly, who is one of the most powerful individuals in early Shippuden, of course. Deidara would never touch him. Kakuzu would never touch him. Individuals, and the other individuals, Gaara, would never touch him. So he would simply be an untouchable opponent with an infinite offensive ability as far as ingraining information into your stimuli with, i.e., the infinite domain expansion, which, to reiterate, also guarantees him being able to strike you as well, despite the possible speed difference that would be present in the real world. Once you're in his expansion, you're in his domain, i.e., which hence is why it's called the domain expansion. So, in conclusion, Gojo with Infinity would just never be touched, and that's why he would beat even people up until early Shippuden. So that'd be my conclusion.
All right. So in theory, Gojo's infinite expansion or domain, in theory, has a very problematic ability in which it's almost like Tsukiyomi. He controls whatever happens in one's subconscious and can inflict pain if need be as well at literally in an instant, right? But the thing is, if Gojo was that powerful, threats like Sukuna wouldn't be a problem. So there has to be some exploits to it that haven't been empirically shown, but in theory, from what we do know, it seems to be almost limitless in power. But the fact that he isn't this top in his verse does rationally imply some exploits, if you will. Now, in Naruto, something like Tsukiyomi isn't the one-all, solution towards world peace. Neither is even this infinite Tsukiyomi, for that matter. There are ways to resist it. And so that being said, it just makes sense narratively that the infinite expansion isn't the one solution towards ultimate dominance. It could be a thing like chakra negation, or it could be a matter of chakra control, where you can break yourself out of the infinite domain, like a Rinnegan user could do the Tsukiyomi theoretically. So that being said, Gojo's only win con is if and only if the ability in question does work. But there are ways to rationally say that ability wouldn't be really problematic in the first place, especially to characters that scale a lot above him in terms of tangible stats. So, however, it is very questionable. It's a great discussion to be had. I think based off what I do know empirically from Naruto, I would say they would have this, even in early Shippuden, like characters like Itachi, for example. So I'll just say that.
All right, folks, we both deserve a. That was a good debate. Let us know what you thought won, specifically Sir Ghost. Who do you think won that one? And we'll still give you a discussion. Of course, we got you. Jay got caught up in Infinity.
There you go.
Yeah, it was infinitely muted for a second. Yeah, that's right.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But any topics you guys may have, even 99 cents, we got y'all. And make sure, by the way, to hit the like button if you haven't already, folks. We really appreciate it. Gets us up in the algorithm, continues to get more eyeballs on these streams, makes them more interactive, etc., and just results in a more fruitful discussion. So, have y'all played Storm? Of course.
Oh, dude, religiously, bro.
Good. Those games are good.
I actually used to use a cheat code with Hebi Sasuke. I used to spam Kieran all the time. That's what I used to do.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I used to do that online too.
Funny? You should definitely stream the new game, Jay, on your YouTube.
And dude, we might have to do that.
Dragon Ball games.
Oh man,
who did you guys always play with? Like
we could even play against each other, bro. Like
dude,
in the Naruto game.
That's a good stream idea in the future, actually. Yeah. Who I used to play with? Who did I play with the most? Online, if I was like being a rat, I'd use obviously Hebi Sasuke. But I used to like using Minato because of his speed, Shishui because of his fire style abilities. You could spam it.
Especially the Awakening.
And Sasuke too. I just because he was cool to use, not necessarily because different Sasuke. I mean, not Hebi Sasuke, but adult Sasuke. I liked using him too because Susanoo.
The Ace Gate guy was
the Ace Gate.
So fun,
come on, yeah, come on.
That shit was broken.
You don't know what's funny? Like in the games, this is always a weird thing. But like whenever Pain used Shinra Tensei, it could deal with anything except for Ace Gate guy.
Yep. Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
If it was 8th Gate guy or above, then you could bypass Shinra Tensei in the game. But like if it was anything other than that, you couldn't do it. I thought that was an interesting detail they put in there.
It's a good little detail. Have you guys played Shinobi Striker? A little bit. It's just not my style, but it's not a bad game.
No, I've never played it.
It's okay. Yeah.
Dude, I used to love playing as Donzo too, bro. He was so broken.
Oh, fucking Donzo, yeah.
Fucking spam for win slices, bro.
Oh,
like, I was so aggravating to people.
I used Kidobito, Minato, and Nagato. And Nagato was good too. So was Kidobito, actually. Yeah. But yeah, folks, any questions at all? We'll keep discussing for So Goats. We appreciate it. And by the way, Jason, let me know when you cash up, and we'll do your yours as well. Let me see if I received it or not.
He's goated too.
Yeah, someone in your Discord chat, Jay, like questioning like some confusion with the Kagsu fight because he was like, I don't understand why Kakashi said he would have used Kamui Baba to beat him when he used Kamui to deal with false darkness, and I was like, what the fuck?
What the?
And I was like, no, it didn't happen. He just used 2 lightning blades to stop it and contain it.
The fuck?
And he even states it verbatim, and I just sent him that scan. But yeah, he thought Kakashi used Kamui on false darkness.
What?
I was like, what?
Talking about?
That's a first, man. Never heard that before.
I've
Yeah,
never heard that
before.
He typed out your server like as a question. It was a genuine question for him.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And I was like,
That's
all right, I'll answer it for him. But I've never heard of that.
Sir Goats J1. I mean, yeah, if this is the word infinity, man, it's so easy to just go with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard. I had to like just speculate, man.
Yeah,
you know,
this is the best we can do, honestly. If I'm being real though, Goku slams Gojo. So,
yeah.
Seth. Oh, someone already said this. Seth versus EDP. If someone donates even 99 cents, we'll do that. We'll fucking debate that.
Oh my
shit.
god!
I better get EDP, bro.
I happily debate that bullshit. So yeah, we'll keep discussing what Sir Goats was talking about. So yeah, so the Infinity ability, there's so many things you have to presuppose with it. I do agree that the domain expansion could possibly be overwhelmed by someone more powerful. I do agree with that. Like Goku, let's say, hypothetically gets an infinite domain expansion. I do think he'd break out because it was just blatant superior key level. I do think that would happen. I think guys like that are just too powerful for Gojo. His abilities would just be overwhelmed. And someone like Goku, I just think is too much for the guy. There's always a theoretical possibility that, I mean, yes, it's called.
If Sukuna is a threat, bro.
Goku's yeah, if he's a threat, I mean, come on, you know.
Like seriously,
someone like Goku wouldn't be. Yeah, exactly. So, I just tend to believe Gojo is beatable. It seems hard to perceive because oh my god, infinite defense, but it's not it's not that simple, you know. So
and there's no real exploits as to what we know so far.
Yeah,
so
it's like him that. Just like I think what happened. A spoiler alert is he got sealed recently and he got out of that, and that was the only way they were able to do anything to him. So clearly in his verse, he's like fucking Madara or something. He's just the guy. But again, so many questions that you have to ask yourself.
Have yet to be answered. Indeed.
Yeah. Are you guys safe for reacting to Naruto 99 results if you haven't already? Oh yeah.
Oh, I would love to, man.
We can give a reaction to that. Yeah. So Minato winning, so happy. To all the trolls that voted for Sakura, what's wrong with you? Obviously, I know for a fact that most of those were bullshit. No one wants to see Sakura again. Itachi being second, I wasn't surprised. He's that guy. I kind of wish it was somebody else maybe up there, like someone more obscure. But then again, the casuals are gonna like who the casuals like. So that's Itachi, you know, that's Sasuke, you know, Shishui, guys like that have a lot of drip. Those are usually the guys that get the most votes. Minato just has the most swag, whether you're a casual, power scaler, whatever it is. He has the most swag. I mean, it's undebatable. So he definitely deserved to win, and I'm glad he did. I want to see not just him, but the history, you know, the time period that he lived in. You know, I want to see the third. Maybe he isn't in his prime. Who knows? When he's teaching a young Minato. There's so many things I'd like to see. You know, so plenty of history. Fugaku. I would love to see them interact. Maybe have like, you know, like they go to the bar or something. They're talking about, you know, their sons or something like that. That'd be a very good moment. You know, Orochimaru, how does he interact with Minato? Is he shitting his pants like he did against Itachi because Minato's superior? Who knows? There's so many things that they could do, which I'm definitely waiting for. So Kishimoto, I'm sure, is aware of that. He's very aware of what the fandom wants and doesn't want.
Akumo almost made it, man. I was proud of the people who did vote for him at least. He got 8th, you know. I was
not bad, not bad at all.
It's not top 3, but I respect whoever voted for him because, like, that's real ones right there putting in work, you know.
Exactly.
But Sakura was like certainly questionable.
Very questionable. I mean, I'm like,
very minimal.
Come on, like seriously,
top 3. It was so close. Yeah. I was surprised by Rock Lee though. He only got like number 20, and I was like,
I was a little surprised by that. Yeah, I was a little surprised. He's a very revered character. I was very surprised.
Literally.
Yeah, that was kind of strange.
Then again, Rock Lee, he did get a lot of good light in OG Part 1 Naruto.
Tuning exams, he did.
Oh, yeah. Wanted to see more out of him. In Shippuden or like even during, because like let's be real, we only got more in the movies from him. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
Only work on.
And then when the Kasame fight, they all just get taken care of, you know. So we didn't get anything from there either.
All right. So someone asked. Sir Goats asked. Where is it again? Would the Sharingan work on Sukuna? It's a very good question. So here's what I do know about the JJK verse. It not only does it work on physical attacks. It works on cursed energy attacks as well, Jujutsu techniques. So you could theoretically consider the possibility that chakra-based attacks would also be negated. But again, you can't prove either or. It's all theoretical and falsifiable either way. That's a good question. It's tough to say. I would say probably does. Does because chakra is just a different chemical. It's a different whole. It has a whole different chemical property and makeup than cursed energy. Maybe cursed energy and the infinity ability isn't set up to deal with chakra. That would be my most rational deduction. But who knows? You could easily argue, hey, they interact. It would interact the same way it would with cursed energy. In that case, it wouldn't hit them. So it really depends.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the Sharingan, it's like, we all think that like the Sharingan or any Genjutsu really, that it puts chakra from the user into someone else, right? Yeah. And it disturbs their chakra network. But I actually heard something cool from like TG the other day, so shout out to him. But like he said that like, we obviously see like Kurama and other BG being able to be Genjutsu, but they don't have chakra networks. They're literally just chakra. So there is some kind of weird way that Genjutsu can work on folks with the Sharingan. But basically, like, if it did hit the void, it would have to reach a distance before you even get into Gojo to begin with. So it could repel it or just outright nullify it in that instance. So it's interesting to think about theoretically, though.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's so many theoretical considerations. It all depends on what you presuppose. There's arguments for both sides. They're both unprovable, at least objectively, because there's just
nothing. Quick question though. Are you sure about the Biju thing? What's it called? Because then again, this isn't a Biju though. It's only a summoning animal, so you actually might still be right about that. But the only thing I remember is like when Sasuke summoned that big ass bird against Kaguya, Kaguya was able to hit the fucking chakra points in that bird. And I mean, that's just an animal, but then again, that's an animal. It's not a Biju. So
I was just more for referring to the Biju. Yeah, but that is interesting to illustrate, though, for sure. I'm with you on that.
Now thinking about like, I don't think Biju have.
They don't have.
I don't really know. Dude. Yeah, it's just a big mass of chakra.
Yeah, they're just pure. Yeah. I think that's what's implied. Yeah, they're like pure energy.
But it's like gentle fist or any of that shit just doesn't. They can't work out a Biju then.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I know the third rate Kaguya sparred with the fourth, and that was physical. But again, we don't know how. I don't know how that went. That's a good question actually. Yeah, you'd have to speculate how that would go. I tend to believe.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's tough. I want to see what Minato thought about Sakumo. I definitely want to see that. Definitely. I want to see.
Obviously, revered him.
I want to see Kid Minato versus Kid Fugaku. Oh, that'd be dope. Imagine like some Sasuke versus Naruto type vibes. It'd be sick.